We want to obviously catch up with your latest views on Omicron. I mean, firstly, on its transmissibility, what's your latest take there?
Well, unfortunately, it's looking like, as advertised, coming out of South Africa and the UK, meaning that it is more transmissible than Delta. And of course, Delta was more transmissible than Alpha, and Alpha was more transmissible than the original lineage. So you're looking at something that is super jazzed up in terms of its ability to affect large populations. And that's going to be extremely disruptive now in the United States. I was hoping that we'd have about a 4 to 6 week window before it came over from the UK to the US, because that's what happened with the Alpha variant and the Delta variant. Doesn't look like we're going to get that lucky. It's pretty much here now and accelerating. And you know, you're talking about the NFL and the NBA season. It's going to be very tough to continue the NFL and the NBA season now for the next few weeks. I think the best case scenario is we see this as a major surge from now and say to the middle of January, and then it starts to go down, and then we could pick things up afterwards. But so that's problem number one. Problem number two, we still have Delta here, so it's not like Delta's entirely gone away. So problem three is Omicron is not necessarily a mild illness, as many people are touting. I think it may turn out to be pretty much like the other lineages. And so you've got this very screaming high level of transmission now starting up across the country. Maybe as many as 20% of the variants in New York and New Jersey are the Omicron variant, and it's only going to get worse and as we move into the holiday season. And then the last piece is, you know, how are we going to sustain it all in terms of the health system? Because we're seeing so many breakthrough symptomatic illness, even with individuals with 3 immunizations. So trying to keep our healthcare workforce together and showing up for work, I think, not that they're going to get very, very sick, but sick enough to be home, I think that's going to present an added problem. So no question, we're going to have a really tough challenge now for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
So you said there, Dr. Hotez, that you feel like Omicron will be as severe as some recent variants like Delta. You have evidence that tells you that, or it's just you don't have any evidence to suggest that it's less severe?
It's the latter. I'm not seeing really impressive evidence that it's less severe at this point. And exactly what the difference is in South Africa, whether the South African population is younger or differences in genetic background. It's not to say it won't happen. I just don't think we can count on it. We shouldn't be dismissive of the Omicron variant and just assume it's only going to be a cold. It may be for some people, but I think, you know, remember, we have so many unvaccinated Americans, especially in certain parts of the country, like here in Texas in the South and in parts of the Mountain West. I think we have to plan for all hands on deck, and that we're in for a pretty serious wave, in part because Delta is still here, and in part because Omicron is also going to cause a lot of havoc as well.